The concept of the Dark Ages typically refers to the period following the fall of the Western Roman Empire, roughly spanning from the 5th to the 10th centuries. It's described as a time characterized by cultural, economic, and demographic decline in Western Europe. This era is viewed as a transitional phase where the known structure of classical antiquity crumbled, giving way to the formation of new social, political, and religious structures that eventually became the foundation of modern Europe. The significance of this transformation lies in its role as a bridge between the ancient world and the medieval society that followed. Understanding this period helps illuminate how diseases, invasions, and political fragmentation altered the course of European history. Specific examples that illustrate the transformation during the Dark Ages include the widespread impact of the Bubonic Plague and the continuous invasions by groups such as the Vikings and Magyars. The Bubonic Plague, arriving in waves, decimated populations, contributing to the breakdown of traditional societies and economic systems. Similarly, the constant threat of invasions led to the decentralization of power as local lords and new political entities rose to prominence, laying the groundwork for the feudal system. While the term Dark Ages carries a negative connotation, some historians argue that this period was not entirely grim, but showed resilience and innovation. For instance, the establishment of monasteries became crucial centers for learning and preservation of knowledge. This view acknowledges the era's complexity and nuances, countering the idea that it was solely a time of decay. Challenges to this concept include debates over the appropriateness of the term Dark Ages, as it suggests a complete cultural stagnation, which overlooks regional variations and periods of growth. Critics argue that this perspective undermines the advancements made during this time, such as the Carolingian Renaissance, a revival of art and learning under Charlemagne's rule. This period's transformations influenced other aspects of European development. The dispersion of power and frequent interaction with diverse invaders contributed to the cultural amalgamation and technological advancements, setting the stage for the High Middle Ages. In summary, viewing the Dark Ages as a period of transformation is key to understanding how adversity, though often devastating, can stimulate innovation and lead to profound societal evolution. This concept challenges us to appreciate the complex tapestry of history, recognizing both its darker moments and its capacity for renewal. The role of disease in shaping medieval Europe is a critical concept when examining the so-called Dark Ages, a period often characterized by societal upheaval and transformation. During this era, disease played a monumental role in influencing demographic shifts, economic decline, and even cultural change across the continent. At its core, this concept describes how widespread epidemics, such as the Bubonic Plague or Black Death, decimated populations, thereby altering the socio-political landscape of Europe. The significance of disease during this period is paramount. It acted as a catalyst for change, hastening the end of the feudal system and prompting shifts in labor dynamics. As massive numbers of workers perished, labor shortages allowed surviving peasants to demand better working conditions and wages. This shift inadvertently laid the groundwork for the emergence of a more modern labor market, contributing to the eventual transition from the medieval to the early modern period. Furthermore, the societal impact of these diseases spurred advancements in medical knowledge and public health practices, albeit rudimentary by today's standards. One of the most illustrative examples is the Black Death of the 14th century, which wiped out an estimated one-third of Europe's population. This cataclysmic event not only led to economic upheaval, but brought about changes in religious and philosophical thinking, as people questioned divine will and the meaning of life amidst such widespread mortality. Another example is the Justinian plague in the 6th century, which weakened the Byzantine Empire and disrupted trade networks across Europe and the Mediterranean, prematurely ending the effort to reunite the Roman Empire. Opinions on this topic often underscore the transformative power of disease. Some historians argue that these epidemics accelerated necessary social and economic transformations. However, there are controversies and alternative viewpoints to consider. Critics of the overemphasis on disease argue that it detracts from understanding the broader array of factors, such as wars, climate change, and political instability, that equally contributed to Europe's decline during the Dark Ages. This point links intricately with other aspects of the main topic by demonstrating how interconnected factors, such as trade and urbanization, facilitated the spread of disease, which in turn exacerbated other existing societal issues. Overall, acknowledging the role of disease provides a nuanced understanding of medieval European history, illustrating how adversity has historically driven societal change and adaptation, an insight that resonates with contemporary discussions on public health and societal resilience. The concept of the economic and social impact of plagues during the Dark Ages refers to the profound and transformative effects that widespread diseases, such as the Black Death, had on medieval European society and its economic structures. During this era, plagues not only decimated the population but also altered the very fabric of economic interactions and social hierarchies. This point is pivotal to understanding Europe's disease-fueled downfall during the Dark Ages, as it reveals how biological catastrophes intertwined with human systems to catalyze significant societal shifts. The significance of this theme lies in how the devastating impact of plagues led to labor shortages, which in turn disrupted the traditional feudal system. With a sharp decline in the population, particularly among the working class, labor became a rare and valuable commodity, challenging the existing serfdom structure. Landowners, desperate for workers, often offered better living conditions and wages to attract laborers, inadvertently giving rise to early market economies and the decline of feudalism. Two notable examples underscore this impact. First, the Black Death of the 14th century, which killed an estimated one-third of Europe's population, showcases a dramatic demographic collapse leading to increased wages for surviving workers and greater mobility, as peasants could negotiate better terms or move to areas offering better opportunities. Second, the Justinian plague in the 6th century, which significantly weakened the Byzantine Empire, contributed to the destabilization of the region, illustrating how disease could indirectly influence political power dynamics. In exploring these impacts, some historians argue that the plagues triggered a necessary but painful transformation, pushing Europe towards modernization and ultimately contributing to the Renaissance. However, this perspective is not without controversy. Some scholars suggest that the immediate suffering and societal chaos outweighed any long-term benefits, while others propose that the significant economic upheaval disproportionately affected the poor, as wealthier classes retained control over lands and resources. These economic and social impacts intertwine with other aspects of the Dark Ages, influencing domains such as governance, health practices, and cultural developments. The resulting shift in power dynamics forced monarchs and the Church to reconsider their roles, leading to reforms that eventually paved the way for the Middle Ages' eventual decline and the rise of new societal frameworks. Understanding this interplay is crucial for a comprehensive study of how diseases during the Dark Ages did not just decimate populations, but fundamentally reshaped European society. During the time commonly referred to as the Dark Ages, spanning roughly from the 5th to the late 14th century, Europe experienced significant population decline, a phenomenon driven by various factors, notably disease outbreaks like the Bubonic Plague. This heading, Population Decline and Urbanization Effects, delves into how these demographic shifts played a crucial role in shaping the societal landscape of medieval Europe. Population decline during the Dark Ages was primarily influenced by catastrophic events such as the Plague of Justinian in the 6th century and the Black Death in the 14th century, both of which decimated large portions of the population. This sharp decrease in population had profound effects on urbanization. Cities, once thriving hubs of commerce and culture, saw dwindling populations, leading to economic stagnation and a decrease in trade activity. Fields lay fallow as fewer people were available to tend to agriculture, further exacerbating food shortages and economic challenges. The significance of this decline lies in its transformative impact on medieval European society. With fewer people to share the burdens of labor, remaining workers found themselves in higher demand, subtly shifting the social dynamics and laying the groundwork for changing labor relations. This set the precedent for increased bargaining power of peasants, eventually contributing, in part, to the erosion of feudal systems and the gradual rise of more centralized forms of governance. A poignant example is the city of Florence during the Black Death. The drastic reduction in population led to a temporary economic downturn, but it also spurred social mobility as survivors inherited wealth and property, leading to shifts in class relations. Similarly, in England, the post-plague labour shortages contributed to the Peasants' Revolt of 1381, as workers sought better conditions and wages. Despite its historical significance, the impact of population decline and urbanisation during the Dark Ages is not without controversy. Some historians argue this period laid a foundation for the Renaissance, suggesting that depopulation indirectly sparked innovation and cultural revival as survivors sought to rebuild and improve their societies. Others, however, view it as a period of prolonged cultural stagnation and hardship. Potential challenges in interpreting this period include differing opinions on the extent of urban decline and the timeline of societal recovery. Additionally, while population decline was a factor in ending the feudal system, the causality is complex, with multiple interwoven factors at play. Overall, population decline and urbanization effects interconnect with other aspects of Europe's disease-fueled downfall by highlighting society's fragility in the face of epidemic threats, ultimately influencing Europe's economic, social, and political restructuring. This sets the stage for understanding how adversity can be a catalyst for profound societal change.